Hi, guys. Welcome to weekly travel updates. Well, I wanted to be certain that you didn't miss that today was Indigenous Peoples Day. I just thought that was such a cool poster that I found. Um, Today is also Columbus Day. And one of the counter things about Columbus Day and Indigenous Peoples Day is that Columbus Day was what we celebrated as kids because Columbus founded America. Well, Indigenous Peoples Day is to celebrate the more than 750 Indigenous peoples groups living in the United States, um, and what they've done for our society. Okay, we're getting ready for the state fair here. You can see I have a coat on tonight. We actually have fall weather. Today, the Europa Clipper took off for Juniper. They are going to a moon off of Juniper. It's going to take 5 years. More on that later. Well, I wanted to bring you up to date. We are still in the midst of hurricane season, guys. In October, there are typically 4 named storms. We count Milton. What is next is Nadine. And it kind of is fearful because I follow the weatherman on YouTube. He is who I use to source information. Like if Lisa Thomas was going on a cruise next week, boy, I would want to be watching that to be certain what the weather was going to be like in each of her ports. It kind of helps me plan and helps me plan for you. Well, he has seen 2 storms, one coming off of Africa like it normally would, to become a hurricane, but one forming where all of the rain is in Belize and coming into the Yucatan Peninsula. That is where it formed for Helene. And this is not going to be anything today, tomorrow, the next day, but we will know something by Saturday. What the question is which will become a hurricane first? Will it be the one in the Yucatan, or will it be the one coming off of Africa like a lot of our hurricanes come from? Okay. Sorry about that. I've already told you all of this. Right now, we are in monitor mode. That was what he said. Our sightings for which one will be named Nadine is because we're in monitor mode, and they watch, and I watched ours today on the heating of the seas and how high it's not rain, but the humidity is, and how that forms them. He was quite interesting. You need to check him out. Anyway, our state fair starts in 2 days on October 17th, and it's going to be the perfect time for a state fair because it's kind of sweater and jacket weather. We are looking for sunshine this weekend with highs of only 62. And after the sun goes down, look for those into the upper 40s and low 50s. I have to say, besides the state fair, one of the things that I have been still watching are what went on with Helene and Milton. And on the news tonight, the Durham first responders in Durham, the fire department is sending up a crew and a trailer, and they'll be right in Spruce Pine where Trey is. They'll be there for several days. While a lot of Spruce Pine has power, there is an area that is not accessible by roads, and we're thinking that's what this help is to come in. They're going to have to build a road to get into 4,800 residents. That's an area that they were sending pack mules in this area as well to reach these stranded people. I don't know if you saw it, but probably the most devastating was I was watching this elderly gentleman, and he says, all of us cousins live along this river, and his house was standing. But this week, he buried or had funeral for 11 cousins. I just can't imagine. Y'all don't forget to pray for these people. The storm is gone. The destruction, the damage, the life-changing situations that it put North Carolinians in will be there for a very long time. Trey says they will not have water in all of Spruce Pine. They won't have it really ready for months. And it could be 8 months before they build the roads to get to these people, these 4,800 homes. Okay, it's close to my heart because when your son's a lineman, you hear all of it. Well, let's go to Milton. Milton, 4 deaths occurred, but actually it wasn't from Milton. It was from the the tornadoes that spawned because of the Milton hurricane. The Tampa Stadium lost its roof, and it is normally a safe haven place for hurricane survivors. It's a gathering place. Not this time. The Tampa Bay ports reopened today, and maybe hurt worse than the Tampa Bay was Port Canaveral in Orlando, or outside of Orlando. If your cruise itinerary says you're cruising out of Orlando, it's really Port Canaveral. It's about an hour and 20 minutes east. But several ships canceled sailings. A Disney sailing and an MSC sailing were canceled. Royal Caribbean and Carnival just shortened their departures for this week. The challenge with shortening is like one of these sailings was a 4-day to the Bahamas, and now it's 2-day cruise to nowhere. So they don't stop at all. I'm just going to reiterate, if you haven't heard me say this before, remember that when you pay off this cruise, you have agreed to whatever the captain decides. And while they're going to get partial refunds because the ship is sailing, it's not a full refund. Lots more that your favorite travel agent should be telling you about that. Thankfully, I didn't have anybody scheduled to go. Well, I don't have anybody scheduled to go in October for cruises. Not until November and December. Okay. One of the challenges today, one of the first things I read was Biden sends anti-missile equipment and troops to the Middle East. So I really had to dig in that today. And you guys, we need to be prepared for war and what that could mean to us. Cyber security, there have been water treatment plants that were disabled. They're brought back up online now, but not in my area. However, this is just going to be like things that we should be expecting to see. And we pray that they don't pull that nuclear rocket out of the ground, because that could just be bad. Anyway, be prepared. Make sure your heart's right too. I speaking of your heart being right, I hope this 20-year-old's was. There was a young lady on the MSC Virtuoso. After it had left Spain, it was headed back into Southampton this weekend. And at 2 a.m., she went overboard at 2:30 with the help of the French naval helicopters who have heat signal devices. So they were able to find her because of her body heat. Anyway, I found that very interesting. It is sad, though. They airlifted her to the hospital, but she was dead on arrival. So think about the family who is suffering there. It's very hard to fall off of a cruise ship, guys. You don't just fall over the side. You have to be up on something or climbing or sitting on a railing or something. There's not a way. Even if the ship was going like this, the railing is way up here. You're not going to fall. So investigation is underway. It's in an area where both the French and UK are there, and we don't ever know. But I didn't want to go for 25 minutes tonight like I have been doing, so I am going to cut this short. Think about the continued needs of Western North Carolina. Right now, Trey says, Mom, we really don't need anything. But realize this is going to be months and months of needs. So just tell people, hold off a little bit. You know, in several weeks, we're going to need more. In several weeks, we're going to need more. You can't very well run a downtown if there is no water. So, and in Spruce Pine, they're terribly worried about getting the mines open again. And the railroad tracks that I saw, let's say this is the bank, the railroad tracks went this way and they just kind of slid down sideways and went back up because the ground underneath them was gone. Well, guys, I hope you have a tremendous week. Be safe out there. If you go to the fair, there are 2 new rides for teens and adults, 3 new rides for kids, and there was an abundance of new fair food. Voted number 1, I didn't see the other choices, but voted number 1 on a news station today was the new bacon wrapped cheese on a stick, like a hot dog. Sounds good to me. I like bacon and I like cheese. All right, guys. Ciao. Have a good week. Check us out online. Go over to my YouTube channel and just like us. Weekly Travel Updates 2866. Have a great week. See ya. Hey, it didn't end yet. Good, because you know what I forgot to tell you about last week? Sorry. Royal Caribbean has increased their gratuities again. That just happened. But what I forgot to tell you about was no more baby monitors can come on Royal Caribbean. If you saw the post, and you probably saw it on social media anyway, but these influencers were TikTokers, and they were on a Royal Caribbean ship, and they placed a baby monitor inside of the room and went to have dinner. And they have been banned, and baby monitors are now on the you cannot take list. I just didn't want another week to go by and me not tell you that. Okay, ciao. Oh, Mike Sutton, I love you too. I just saw your comment. Y'all pray for Mike Sutton. Do you know that he and Donna were sitting out on their front porch Saturday, and you can see water all the way around their house? It's under their house. It's just not up on their porch. It's not going to come up on their porch now, but pray for them. What a terrible, terrible thing to have to live through. All right. We are glad you're safe, though. Ciao.